Hello and welcome to today's anatomy question. I'm Lizzie Lasater, and joining us is the wonderful Mary Richards. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Lizzie.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your time with us.
It's my pleasure. Keeps me off the streets and out of trouble.
Exactly. So we're continuing our Essential Alignment series from Mama's Book 30 Essential Yoga Poses. And I want to say before we start that this is the website to get on the mailing list. That's where all the fun happens, the Yoga Anatomy Learning Fun. Today we're looking at pose 22, which is Virasana, or called hero/heroine pose. So Mary, what's your kind of thesis or central idea for us today about this pose?
Let's focus on the heroism of the pose rather than the knee torture aspects of the pose. There's really no need, and I would argue that for a significant number of people, this is quite detrimental. There's no need to sit between the heels.
Mm-hmm.
Lift the earth to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on your heels or above them.
But
because
Mary, it's like the full pose to sit between. It's like the advanced version to sit between.
Yeah, that's the advanced anterior cruciate ligament tearing version, or the meniscal tearing version.
Right.
And this is the reality when we are taking this W type of seat. It really exponentially increases the forces within the knee joints themselves, and especially for Westerners who tend to sit in chairs. It's too much flexion with an added rotational component, because see, we need to remember that the knee isn't a simple hinge joint like the elbow. It is a modified hinge joint with a rotational element. And so in that first 20 degrees of flexion, when we're moving into Virasana and our tibia are fixed, meaning they're planted on the floor, well, the femurs are turning, they're rotating, and that's, the ACL helps rein that in a bit and restrains the translation of the thigh bone. But it's so compressive, and then you're adding these forces that aren't necessarily healthy for the knee.
Right.
So lift your bum.
All right. I'm going to jump on my mat and we can take a look. All right. So this is how I sit for meditation a lot. Like this.
Yes. And there's no pain in your knees, correct?
No, nothing.
And you don't feel an uptick in pressure on your medial knee, the inner knee?
No.
So a lot of folks will feel that. They'll feel like the medial compartment of the knee is going to kind of explode on them. And, that's not a desirable sensation. And so what we can do, of course, is we can lift the base of support and then also move the heels closer to the body so that they're more directly aligned with your sitting bones.
Oh, I like that.
So if you don't have props, you can practice this sitting on your heels.
And actually what I do, I usually put even one more blanket on here. So it's quite high. Is this too high, Mary? In your opinion?
No, and Lizzie, for a lot of folks, I'll actually have them take a rectangular bolster and place it on the long, skinny side and sit on it like a saddle.
Oh.
Yeah, so you would set it up like that and then sit on the narrow.
Sit like this?
Yeah.
Like this? Whoa. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's surprisingly comfortable. It seems like it's going to be quite pokey.
Yeah, not so pokey. And it really takes the pressure out of the knees. And that'll help folks too who have issues with the plantar flexion, the pointed toe foot position. It'll take pressure off their ankles.
So how much pressure in the knees are you okay with?
As long as I don't have to set my teeth or defend against it.
Okay.
I expect us to feel that we're in deep flexion in the knee.
Right.
But it's a sensation that will quickly fade from the forefront of our awareness. If, however, the knee awareness is up front and center, you know that it's too much.
Oh, I like that way of describing it. That's a really clear. So, and then in terms of sitting on the heels, I almost never do that except for very short periods of time. I guess it's okay. It just feels a little bit pulley on the under my patella.
Yeah, you're feeling your patellar tendons tug. So on the one hand, it's nice to give them a little bit of a stretch, but again, if that is the loudest sensation in the pose, it's too loud.
Yeah.
And so for some folks, they just need to have a block or a foam pad or even a blanket. They may sit in such a way that the sitting bones are on the same plane as the heels.
Right.
But they're not trying to push themselves down into the space between the feet.
Right. Okay. Anything else you want to share before I come say goodbye?
Resist the temptation to hold your legs together as well. Instead, maintain awareness of your skeletal proportions. Specifically, how wide is your sacrum? So most of us need a minimum of 1 fist width between the knees or more.
I like more.
I like 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can feel, Lizzie, if you bring your legs together, see, that's the other iteration of the pose, right? You hold the thighs together and you sit down between the heels. And I know, especially for students who have a history of ACL injury or medial meniscus tear, or they're knock-kneed, they have some sort of significant skeletal variation, that pose will just shred their knees.
Yeah.
And you can feel even lifted by holding the legs together. Do you notice the change in knee sensation?
Yes, I don't like it. And I also, my pelvis feels held back. And when I put in my knees, I feel my pelvis can turn into a really comfortable, it sits much better.
Yes, you can display the normal curves of your vertebral column, and your psoas muscles are now working in the plane in which they lie. Whereas before, when you were holding your legs and your knees together, it took your psoas as stabilizers out of the picture.
All right, how do you like to come out of this pose?
I like to transition to quadruped position, to come to all fours. And then I like to come into downward facing dog because I like to stretch out the knees.
Yeah, that's nice. And then maybe Uttanasana, if I've got my blocks right here, can just...
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I sneak that right in.
Yeah, it's such a nice, I'll do that frequently. I'll move from Virasana to Adho Mukha Svanasana to Uttanasana. It depends. I might do some warrior poses afterward.
All right, let me come say goodbye. Thank you so much, Mary.
My pleasure. I love the knee joint. I really do. And, I'm a hiker. And so whatever I can do to facilitate my knee comfort, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't practice Virasana, but don't try to shove a square peg in a round hole.
Amen. All right, Mary, where can we find you online?
You can find me on the gram and Facebook at Yoga with Mary Richards and maryrichardsyoga.com.
Perfect. Experientialanatomy.yoga. Go there, get on the list, and get all the goodies from us. Namaste, Mary.
Namaste, Lizzie.
Bye, everyone.